Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Unbettable. Today, just me and Holmes. We're talking college football. We're talking NFL. We got Thursday picks. We got all kinds of stuff. Holmes, let's just kick it off, man. Georgia, Tennessee, massive game this weekend, drawing all the viewers. What was your takeaway from this game?
I like the grit of Georgia, dude. We were talking about this coming into the game. I mean, it was Georgia had looked so bad to their first two opponents, Marshall, Austin P, just very lethargic, going through the motions. Didn't really see that fire, that talent in that team. But again, they weren't really playing anybody. Didn't really need to show all their cards. Like I said, man, when they come to SEC play, Kirby Smart has a way of turning those guys on, and
Mhm.
he absolutely did that. A lot of credit to Gunnar Stockton because that dude came out and proved a lot of people wrong. His throws looked great. He was very poised all day long. I mean, you go down, what was it, 21-7 in the first quarter, and you don't even blink an eye and just keep rolling, keep doing what you're doing, and make that as exciting of a game as it was. I mean, first of all, Neyland Stadium was rocking the entire
Mhm.
afternoon. I mean, that place was going bananas. Gunnar Stockton, the fourth down throw in the end zone. I know everybody has been talking about that, but that was as perfect as it gets. If he doesn't throw that ball there at that time, I mean, they're probably losing that game. And you got to give a lot of credit to Joey Aguilar for showing out in this game, too. First SEC test for this guy as a part of the Tennessee Volunteers, and man, did he look good against a pretty good defense. So I was impressed, honestly, with both teams. You know, Tennessee ended up losing the game in overtime, but I don't really come away from this game thinking that Tennessee is a bad team or that they're worse than they were before this game. I'm really actually impressed with what Tennessee did, and I think they're going to be a very, very formidable team going forward in the SEC. And I don't think we would have gotten close to saying that at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, dude, from the SEC to the ACC, I mean, we had an upset alert. Georgia Tech takes down Clemson 24-21. Watching this game, man, I had a couple takeaways. One, Haynes King, absolute beast. Um, Threw for 200 yards, but that wasn't the main thing. He carried for 25 carries, 103 yards, and a tutty. It felt like Georgia Tech was in control this whole game. I mean, top to bottom, they look great. Walk it off at the end. And Clemson, I don't know. Bryant Westco looked great, but Clemson now falls to 1-2, 0-1 in the ACC. I For the first time ever, I think Dabo's on the hot seat at this point. It's a crazy takeaway from this game, but you can't be losing these games if you want to try and make the playoffs. It's a no brainer. But I enough with that game, Holmes. Let's get back to the scoring. A&M, Notre Dame.
Another barn burner, dude. I mean, both teams score 40 in this one, just like the Georgia Tennessee game. But good on Texas A&M, man. Going up to South Bend, coming away with a 1 point win here. This is a win that Texas A&M needed desperately. You could probably say Notre Dame needed it too, now that they start out 0-2 after this game. But Marcel Reed looked very, very good for Texas A&M. You got to give a lot of credit to Mario Craver, the transfer receiver. I do not remember which school he came in from. It's escaping me at the moment. But 7 catches, 207 yards, and a touchdown. Whoo! That boy was spicy during that game. And I mean, coming into this game, I really thought Notre Dame that their defense was going to tighten up. I'm not really sure what's happening from last year to this year that the defense doesn't really look as strong as it did. I understand they got some players drafted. I understand it's not all of the same personnel as they had last year, but man, 41 points given up to Texas A&M at home, you got to be able to do something about that, man. I like CJ Carr. I think he's got what it takes to be a good leader of this team, but you're kind of asking him to do a lot when Texas A&M again is putting up 41 points and you need him to lead your offense back in it. I mean, that's a really, really tough ask. Marcel Reed again, like he's he's made a big step up from where he was last year. I think last year everybody was very impressed with his rushing ability, but was very
Mm-hmm.
unsure of his ability to pass, his ability to maybe be a pocket passer, scramble out, make plays with his legs when he needed to. And you saw on the fourth down that won them the game, he had all that right there. I mean, he has a lot of juice. I think Elko's done a pretty damn good job with this team, but Marcus Freeman, man, it's time to get your boys up off the mat because you're 0-2 and you got a long way to go.
It's not a good look, man. But like you were saying, quarterbacks that didn't seem kind of right, but are kind of proving you wrong. For me, that's Carson Beck, dude. I thought Carson Beck was an absolute bust coming into Miami. He looked terrible at Georgia, at least when we matched up against him. But holy shit, dude. Did he torch South Florida? 340, three tutties. You have Fletcher cutting it up on a dime, 120 for two. Miami looked unstoppable. It's like we said, man. USF, like, they had a gauntlet to start the season, and they didn't really need this win to be justified for the playoffs. Now, would you have liked to see him keep it closer? Probably, but even with the loss, South Florida's resume is rock solid.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean that was a game coming in where I really, really did feel like Miami was going to put it on them. It was going to be really hard for USF to play up to that. Just such high standard, 3 weeks in a row against really tough teams. And Miami did what Miami was supposed to do in this game. They took care of business. And it's hard to, and I hate saying this as a Gators fan, but it's hard to look at that Miami team and think that they don't have all the potential in the world. We've talked about it so many times. Their trench play is ridiculously good. Their defensive line and offensive line look like some of the best in college football right now.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me a little nervous for UF Miami this weekend. But Carson Beck, like you said, starting to revive his career a little bit. They have a solid run game. That offensive line has given him all day to throw. And the
Mm-hmm.
receivers that really coming into the year was probably the biggest question, other than the secondary, have looked great. So Miami seems like they're putting all the pieces together. These next two games for them, this is really their season because if they beat Florida this week and then they go and beat FSU the weekend after, dude, I mean, who's stopping them after that?
Nobody.
Their schedule is going to be weak in that
Mm-hmm.
ACC, and if Miami's able to come away looking the way they have the past few weeks, they're going to be very dangerous, especially come playoff time.
Yeah, unfortunately, you brought up that one Florida team, the University of Florida, and unfortunately, we went there and have to talk about this game. UF LSU. LSU takes us down 20-10. Lagway looked fucking horrendous. We know that. My question for you, Holmes, what's the course of action for us to get better? What do we do from here?
Start on the defensive side, change nothing. Because whatever the hell they're
Agreed.
doing on the defensive side of the ball is working. I'm pretty sure they have given up 2 touchdowns in 3 games, and we are 1-2. That defense is playing with its hair on fire. They have so much talent on that side. They have so much depth. I mean, they're just rotating guys in and out, and they're all giving it 100%. Going into Death Valley on at night and only giving up 20 points to LSU, this offense that was supposed to be going nuclear this season under Garrett Nussmeier, are you kidding me? That defense showed out. When it comes to the offense, there's a lot that needs to be fixed. But I honestly think one of the things that needs the most attention is the mechanics for DJ Lagway. He's
Mm-hmm.
throwing off of his back foot too much. The reads are obviously not there with the throws into double and triple coverage. We need to go back to basics with this young man. I think it was Nick Lipinski that said this past weekend, but you can really see that DJ Lagway not practicing in the spring, in the summer, a little bit in the
Yep.
fall because he's getting banged up. That's showing up right now. He is not doing the little things correct. And I hate to make this comparison, but he's starting to put himself in a little bit of the AR talent pool. He got all this talent in the world, but we need you to make the easy plays. We need you to make the easy throws. We need you to make the easy reads. If that's not happening, how the hell are we going to get anything going? And one more thing. Somebody said this today. I don't know who this was. Jaden Ball is averaging 6.5 yards a carry. 6.5 yards. It might be more than that. It might be 6.7. He is absurd. Why are we not giving this kid the ball more? Not only does he have elite talent, our offensive line is actually pretty good. They were put up for the Joe Moore Award at the beginning of the season, which is the best offensive line in college football every year. Why are we not taking more advantage of our run game? We're not getting blown out in any of these games where we need to pass 30, 40 times to get ahead. We are right in these games. So why are we not using one of the best talents we've had at running back in a long time?
Makes
This week.
sense, man. Makes sense. I, I have nothing to add. I really don't have anything to. That was incredible.
Thank you.
I guess let's transition a little less harsh of a transition than last week, but uh, NFL season, obviously, we have the Pats, we have the Dolphins kicking it off. We're 0-2. I get it. We looked a lot better this past game. Granted, we were facing brain dead people, and that's coming from the team that lost. I, I got no words for the Dolphins. They look terrible. Tua kind of piecing it together just a little bit, but everyone's still out of sync. Defense just looks abysmal. My analysis is not great for this game. It's more so just the Dolphins need to figure their shit out and need to do it this week. And unfortunately, it's Thursday night football against the Bills. But that's not the worst of it for most sports fans. Holmes, we we got a big story up in Cincinnati. Why don't you break it down?
It's unfortunate because once again, Joe Burrow's offensive line cannot protect this man. And it really sucks because when you think about this Bengals organization, they've kind of done it to themselves a little bit, putting all of the money that they have for this franchise into essentially four players: Joe Burrow, their two wide receivers, Chase and Higgins, and now Trey Hendrickson, who I
Yep.
know they didn't give him the deal he wanted. God, could you imagine if they did? They'd be running on a deficit right now. I mean, they're basically piecemealing their offensive line together. And that just sucks because they cannot keep their uber talented quarterback upright. And it's a shame because now he goes through another very tough injury, 3 months possibly until he comes back. He might not even come back this season. It might be too tough for him to come back from. On the other side, man, God, you got to feel for the Jaguars because they look like a very much improved team. The offense looks like it's cooking, with the exception of BTJ. I'm not sure what's going on with him right now. Maybe lingering injuries, maybe some mental things that he needs to work through, but that offense is cooking. The defense looks a little bit better, but they still got some kinks to work out. I know they were just on that flight home like, man, how the hell did we lose that game? How did we put ourselves in a position to lose that? I really do like the Jags. I think they're going to be trending upward. Just a really tough break for them in Cincinnati this week.
Yeah. Speaking of trending upward, man, let's talk a little Russell Wilson. The
Woo!
guy comes out Sunday facing the Cowboys, division rival of the Giants, and sets his career high in passing yards at 450 with three tutties. Malik Neighbors balled out. Obviously, the Cowboys had to ruin it. Brandon Aubrey, elite, drills it through the uprights for the win. But what a game. I know everyone enjoyed it, even though the Cowboys won. It was a hell of a matchup. Everyone loves seeing Russ being back to form. You could not complain. Javonte Williams looking like a top 10 running back in the NFL.
Yep.
It was just an unbelievable matchup. Looked great. Both teams looked amazing. It definitely looked better than the Lions and the Bears, Holmes.
Yep. Totally. I feel for our guy Nick Lip here, man, because the Lions they gave it to Ben Johnson. I mean, that I'm telling you, this was that game where, regardless of how much they were up, they weren't going to stop. They were just going to keep giving it to him as much as possible. Because I know they're still a little stung by the fact that he left them to go take a coaching job with a rival. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and if you're the Lions, you put a lot of those questions to bed that arose from week one when they couldn't do anything against the Packers, and me included. I mean, I asked a lot of questions like, are they going to be able to be productive without Ben Johnson? Is this how boring and stagnant they're going to look? Hell no. I mean, they put it on the Bears. I hate to say it again, Nick Lip, because that is our boy, but the Bears got a long way to go, dude. They got some injuries on that defensive side that are not helping them out. They're going to have to be a lot smoother offensively as well. I think Caleb Williams has it. He's got something there, but there's still just a few decisions here and there that you question. You're just like, those are some bad habits that you need to work yourself out of. And Ben Johnson, hopefully, he's going to be able to get it out of him quickly because you just hate for this team to start out the way they have, honestly.
Yeah, man. A young quarterback having to figure it out. Go figure. Just like this next one. LA Rams, Tennessee Titans. The Rams, Stafford, 2 touchdowns. Puka, Devontae Adams both looked amazing. But you hate to see someone like Cameron Ward struggle. You know how hard he plays every single game. Tony Pollard looks great. Titans, man, just haven't figured it out so far. And I think they will eventually. It's just going to take time.
A lot of time.
Speaking of time, we have Brock Purdy. You see the update today, potentially coming back.
Okay, I did not. That's great.
What are the thoughts? Saints, Niners.
I mean, if you're the 49ers, like regardless of how decent Mac Jones played for the 49ers, you put in Brock Purdy. It's not even a question at all. I will say, I think, or well, I thought the Saints were probably going to be the worst team in the league. They've shown me a little something that they might not be the worst. They're not going to be great by any means, and they're not going to get a lot of wins. But for them to put up the fight that they did against the 49ers, Spencer Rattler is proven to be a little bit of a gamer. I think he's really trying as much as he can to put this team on his back, but they just have such a deficit of talent. The defensive side of the ball is just not what it used to be for the New Orleans Saints and 49ers, man. They just have too many weapons. Even when you have guys like Purdy and Kittle out, like there's too many other guys to get the ball to that can make plays to make that an effective team.
Yeah. Bills, Jets, not really much to say here. I'm going to be honest. Bills are a well oiled machine. If Josh Allen isn't throwing the ball, chances are James Cook is running for 132 and 2 tutties. It's just the way their offense is. Elite top to bottom. Shut down a Jets team that we saw ball out week one. Look great. Obviously, you hate seeing Justin Fields going down with a concussion, but it could be just a week thing. It could end up being longer, but at least the Jets know that they still have their guy in the long run, and they'll be able to kind of work through this in the meantime.
Yeah.
Seahawks and Steelers, Holmes.
Oh, don't skip over the Browns and Ravens like that.
Oh, we
Oh, wait, this is
will. We
this
we
is
will.
still in the 1 o'clock slate. I'm crazy, bro. I keep thinking that's a 4 o'clock game. We This past week was weird. We had 9 games in the 1 o'clock slate, and what do we have like
Yeah.
three in the 4 o'clock? Like, dude, come on, spread that out a little bit more. What are we doing, NFL? Seahawks, Steelers. How about the Seahawks going in there and getting a win? I mean, I am a pretty big believer that the Steelers are going to put together a pretty decent season. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they could be like, crazy Super Bowl contenders by any means, but I mean, I like what Aaron Rodgers has done with that offense so far. I'm starting to get a little worried about the Steelers defense. I mean, back-to-back weeks with I think 30 plus points given up to the Jets and the Seahawks. Not really what you love to see from traditionally a defensive led team. I will say, we were talking about this over the weekend too. If there's one man on that defense that's playing his ass off, Jalen Ramsey. Holy
Yep.
shit. If there is any
Man
play being
possessed.
made, like man possessed. Yeah, dude. I mean, I have not seen that guy play to that level in quite some time. But it seems like anytime there's a big play being made, he's right there. Seahawks, got to give credit to Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think this is going to be a big year for him. Him and Sam Darnold seem to have a pretty good connection so far. But Seahawks, nice win for them on the road, honestly.
Yeah. Browns, Ravens. You mentioned it. AFC North battle this weekend. Wasn't really a battle. Ravens smoked them 41-17. Lamar Jackson looks like a top of the line athlete. 4 tutties through the air. Looked great moving around in the pocket and out of the pocket. Keeps his connection going with Zay Flowers. On the other side, you got the Browns. Exactly. So there's not much to
Yeah.
say there. Holmes, take it away. Broncos, Colts.
What a great game here, dude. What a great game. This is one of those games that's making you really think, yo, maybe they found something in Daniel Jones. Maybe Daniel Jones got a little something to bring to this team because that team has no quit in it, dude. No quit. They also have not punted. The Colts have not punted in 2 games.
Oh,
That's
I know.
that's mind-blowing. That has never happened in the Super Bowl era. I want people out there to understand how wild that is. In 2 games, they have not punted. That's crazy to me. the the I don't understand the penalty. The whole leverage thing is so weird with the field goal at the end of the game. That to me is just one of those weird ticky tack calls, and I just don't know if you're really like in the heat of the moment like that. Just see if the Colts kicker's got it. See if he can hit that kick. Like what are we doing with all these just simple little penalties here and there? They just seem like they're so minute and they're trying to find the littlest thing to call and get on. I don't know. I don't really appreciate that. But that being said, the Broncos did play a pretty decent game, but the Colts, man, at home, they just played a little bit better. And you got to give your hats off to Danny Dimes for being a great leader of that team.
That you do. Cardinals, Panthers.
Mm.
Holmes, it's rare that your quarterback throws for 328 and 3 touchdowns and your star wide receiver has 100 yards and you still end up losing that game.
Yeah.
The Panthers, man, they are just destined for failure. You hate to see it. I grew up for a while in North Carolina, enjoy watching Panther football. You hate to see them be bad. You really do. I enjoy the NFL more when the Panthers are good. Unfortunately, they just can't figure it out. 39-year-old Calais Campbell ending games still, walk-off sack.
Right.
It's crazy, man. The Panthers can't get out of their own way. On the other side, the Cardinals, they're just doing what it takes to win. Now 2-0, looking great. Going to try and keep it going next week, but man, the Panthers can't figure it out. And I know another team that can't seem to either. Eagles and Chiefs.
I think the Chiefs will figure it out this week. They do play the New York Giants. I don't have a lot of faith in the New York Giants, but you want to talk about teams doing what they need to do to win. Dude, that's the Philadelphia Eagles in a
Mm-hmm.
nutshell right now. I mean, I was just looking at Jalen Hurts' stats because I'm so enamored with how little he has thrown the ball at all through 2 games and how much they've kind of like dominated the 2 wins that they've had. 101 yards in the air. The guy barely had to do anything, and he only had 15 yards rushing. Like, this team does not have to be an offensive juggernaut. Maybe they can be down the line, but you're already seeing that they're beating decent teams without having to do any of that. It's pretty remarkable when you think about it. The one thing, tush push, a lot of people are talking about this. It's we got to figure this play out. We got to officiate this better. There's false starts happening. There's offsides all over the place. It's very quickly starting to turn into a non-legal play, and I don't love that. When you're starting to actually zoom in and look at it from the line angle, there's a lot of stuff that is not correct about how this play should be going about. So that to me was a little weird. I think it's really really tough for Travis Kelce dropping that ball right at the 1 or 2 yard line and causing, I mean, out of his hands into the Eagles defender's hands for an interception. Like, that was a massive turning point of the game. You got a feel for him right there, but Eagles, dude, even in a boring as hell game, nothing like the Super Bowl last year, they still pull out with a dub. It's only 3 points, but I felt that it was pretty convincing.
Sunday night football, Falcons, Vikings. I guarantee this is not the way America thought this game would go. The Vikings looked horrendous. 6 total points, letting rush after rush up to Bijan. McCarthy throws 2 INTs. Like it was just a nightmare scenario for a Vikings team that specifically is built to excel on defense and clock management. And you're getting blown out at home by the Falcons. Just
Yep.
an absurd thing. I can't wrap my head, and I'm still trying to go through the highlights just to figure out what's going on, man. Because it is abysmal watching them play right now.
Yeah.
Holmes, I set it up this way on purpose. Take it away.
Man, my boys, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Me and Garrett talked about it on the pod last week. We said you better take these motherfuckers on the money line because woo, Baker Mayfield for the second, I was about to say year, second week in a row. This dude comes back with an incredible fourth quarter drive to lead the team to a win. You got to admire the grit and the toughness from Baker Mayfield, dude. And it seems like most of the team is taking on that type of persona as well. I will say, throughout a lot of this game, the offense did struggle, We did have a way better ground game than the Texans did. God, the Texans couldn't find anything going on the ground. Big credit to the Bucs defense as well up front for stopping a lot of their runs. But man, Bucky Irving, Rashad White, they both looked good in tandem. They were putting together some really good runs, getting that offense moving when they needed to. But too often, things weren't really connecting. A lot of three and outs, a lot of stalled drives. We had another missed kick from Chase McLaughlin. We got to be able to clean that up, man. If we're getting down into field goal range, we need that guy to be reliable. But at the end of the day, when you have Baker Mayfield on your team playing as well as he is right now, you got to feel confident. Even with a drive like that, with only 2 minutes left at the end of the game, that he's going to lead your boys down to get it done. Still very impressed with the way that this team is operating with no Tristan Wirfs, no Chris Godwin, no Jalen McMillan, and a defense that's starting to rack up some injuries on that side too. Just a couple days ago, I think Kalijah Cansey, our young edge rusher, was just ruled out for the season with a torn pec. We've had some injuries in the secondary. That's getting tough, but again, the resiliency of this team through 2 weeks, two road games. You'll love to see the Bucs starting out 2-0. Next week against the Jets at home. Let's make it three, baby.
The final game of the weekend, Chargers at Raiders. Started off with Raiders highlights. Not much to talk about here. They put up 9 points, did not look great. Ashton Genty broke a couple tackles. I guess that's a pretty good thing. Looked pretty decent. On the Chargers side, man, the Chargers side, let's start with Quentin Johnson. Out of all the players in that wide receiver room to stand out so far, Lab McConkey, Keenan Allen, it is Quentin Johnson who is secretly becoming the star of this team, the star of this offense, and the star of that wide receiver room. Absolutely incredible through the first two games. He had 71 and a tutty this game. Looked even better week one. And then the only other thing you got to say if you're a Chargers fan, God bless Madison Beer for being around Justin Herbert because holy shit, is
Yeah,
he
dude.
playing like an MVP talent right now?
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable and the perfect way to end week two of the NFL slate. But Holmes, it wouldn't be an early week episode if we didn't talk about Thursday night football. Dolphins, Bills. I'll let you give the pregame analysis and then we'll do our picks.
Yeah, dude, I'll just give you a little bit of analysis. I did not have a lot of time this week to be able to research picks, so I'll give out a couple of leans that I'm liking in this game. This is just, when you think about this Thursday night matchup, dude, at the beginning of the season, this is probably going to be a lot better. Fortunately, with the way the Dolphins have played the past couple of weeks, I think you would agree this could be a tough one to watch come halftime. Now, as much as I say that, this could be one of those spots, and we see it every year, where you come into a game like this. Bills are laying, what are they laying? 12 and a half points right now. Uh, do the Dolphins somehow, some way, pull an outright win? Nobody knows how it's going to happen. It might be a lot of turnovers, might be a lot of penalties for the Bills. Who knows? But because this is a division game, this is one of those that, even with a big number like that, as confident as you may feel in the Bills with how they've played versus how the Dolphins have played, this is just one of those that if I really were to lean anyway, I would take the Dolphins plus 12. That sounds crazy. Again, given the way these past 2 weeks have gone, this being a divisional matchup, plus the fact that the Dolphins are going up to Buffalo not in the wintertime and still at a time where it's not going to be freezing cold for them, I like maybe their chance to be able to hang in there. Again, division game, it can get weird, but I'll give you the reins, dude. This is your team right here.
Well, I mean, that's the key right there, man. It's a divisional game. We know those games get played harder. Uh, it's not a crazy take, Holmes. I bet it about 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
Dolphins plus 12. And then I also took a Tyreek Tutty because we know I can't bet a game without an anytime touchdown. And it really sucks because, sometimes you, me, and a couple of our boys will come up with parlays and stuff off the cuff during the weekend. And those seem to be hitting a lot better than my bets lately. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Trust
if
me.
it's something where we just start tweeting out every parlay we do or what, because I'm up like $300 right now, and you'd never know it based on the picks I do.
No, yeah, yeah, same for me, man. I can't seem to get it right. You look at that graphic and you're like, there's one win in college football, there's one win in NFL. Oh, no, actually, Actually, Bucks win. That's 2 wins. So 3 wins, I think, in total last week. Dude, I have not been good, but I'm telling you, I'm losing these. There's a lot of bad beats going on. And I'm pretty frustrated with how close that I'm losing some of these games because I feel like I'm on the right side. But man, when it comes down to these results, I'm not getting it done. So I feel you there. One good thing though, we all three of us, Gare's not here, but I'm gonna include him in this. All three of us crushed the NFL pick'em against the spread this week. I know we're all competing against each other, but you have gotten yourself back to a winning record. We are all sitting very pretty right now. I know we'll talk about it, I'm sure, again next episode with the picks. But I am 19 and 12. You are 16 and 15, and Gare is 18 and 13. So 2 weeks in, we're all positive. We're all looking good in this, and we're going to hope that we can keep it going for the rest of these weeks.
Couldn't possibly be a better way to end the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed, please make sure to like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. We'll see you on the next episode of Unbettable.